Blaine Holt. We're going to see you at the top of the hour. Thanks so much for your insights and for being with us this morning.
Thanks for having me. We'll look forward to the next time.
Okay, now let's bring in our powerhouse panel of the day. Attorney, Turning Point USA contributor, and columnist for BizPac Review, Erin Elmore.
And other Afghans at risk going forward. I will use every diplomatic, economic, political, and assistance tool at my disposal, working closely with allies and partners who feel very much the same way, to do everything possible to uphold their basic rights.
Erin, I want to come to you. Today is Women's Equality Day, of all days, to be talking about this. Your reaction to the Secretary's response there?
Like many Americans, I watched his words live, and it was very jarring to watch, and I can't help but on a day like this think about the women and children. But we already know that the left is the party of platitudes and dishonesty. They talk about the future is female, then they allow men to compete in female sports, and then they allow this travesty, absolute travesty of epic proportions to occur in Afghanistan. And what this tells women and what this tells the world despots is that women do not matter. What is China going to do now? They know that the U.S. is not there to police their bad behavior. What is going to happen in Cuba or Venezuela? These are the problems that we're facing now, that the America is not seen as powerful. We are laughed at as we kneel for the flag and we allow TikTok influencers to answer the White House phones. Honestly, this is beyond shameful. They care more about pronouns than they care about people. And this should be a wake-up call for Joe Biden and all of his cronies.
TW, Blinken, I was really struck by him because he looked visibly shaken. He looked ashen at this press conference.
Administration is an unmitigated disaster. You have record numbers of migrants surging across our border.
Republicans have long made the case that border security is also a national security issue. The Biden folks, Democrats, the far left, they've said, "Oh, that's really nonsense. That's xenophobic. It's racist to say that." But now that Afghanistan has collapsed and they've let thousands of foreign fighters out of the prisons, do you think that in the public's mind there's going to be more pressure now because they will start to look at this as a national security issue?
You know, one would hope, but the problem is we see these women and children who are in such desperate need of housing and homes and security and just life process. I have gotten a lot of emails from friends saying, hey, Georgetown or other universities are bringing people here. Can you help donate? And the first thing I always say to them is, who is doing the vetting? We have to do vetting for all of these people to determine who is coming into our country. It should actually be real humanitarian crises like this one, or people who are the best and the brightest who can contribute to society and not be a tax on our system. But yes, I think that this is a massive issue. And I always have said the moms of the world and the moms of America are going to save our great nation and our great universe, if you will, because when moms get upset, the worlds get upset. The average woman at home that's saying, hey, my child is not in school or is having to wear a mask, or I don't feel safe in my home and I feel that I need a gun, they are starting to speak up. They were the middle of the road voter who wasn't really sure about Donald Trump, but you know what? Now their eyes are open and now they see we need a leader and we need a country who puts us first. Yeah. And that's why I always say the moms.
Tom, if it's okay,
the moms on Women's Day, they're going to save the country.
TW, real quick.
First, we need to bring Americans home before one more Afghan comes into this country. America first, as it relates to any type of immigration and safety in Afghanistan, particularly.
And of course, great conversation. We're going to see you in the next hour. Because the left is very deft at the shiny objects over here so that you don't pay attention to this over here. I think that they just want to play the long game and they want to move on. They're myopic on this leftist domestic agenda. And one of the reasons why we don't get any answers from the president and Jen Psaki is because they're not really that interested in answering them at this point. Your thoughts, quick.
Well, we don't have a press corps that's asking hard questions. Basically, every news organization and Twitter and Instagram and Facebook are basically Democrat super PACs. So basically, the White House hasn't had to work. They haven't had any accountability. No one asks questions. There's just been complacency. And now we finally see people saying, all right, we can no longer cover for the Biden administration. And what we haven't touched on in any of our segments this morning is our president, Joe Biden, has left behind all of our very advanced military equipment. Where is it going from Afghanistan? China and Iran. Now they have access to the best and most, well advanced products in the world. We are at risk as a nation. What we saw in 9/11, the anniversary is coming up. We are at risk for another massive terrorist attack right now because we are not seen as powerful. We are not feared by the international community.
Yeah.
Russia, China, Iran think that we are an absolute joke. And we really are, unless we really start to look strong and hard as a nation.
All right. I want to thank our panel. Great conversation today. Appreciate you being here. Up next.